All right, it's 10 o'clock on the dot, so let's go ahead and get started. I'd like to say good morning to everyone and thank you for joining us on behalf of the California Department of Veterans Affairs and the California Transition Assistance Program. We'd like to welcome you to today's webinar, which will cover disaster assistance resources. Thank you for your time and availability to join us this morning. We know that this is an important topic with the current California wildfire season that seems to get sooner and sooner every year. So we know that this is important information and we're glad that you're joining us today and we're happy to share this information. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, we just want to go over some general housekeeping for today's meeting. We do ask that if you are not a presenter or a panelist, to just keep your microphones muted and your cameras turned off. This just helps eliminate some of the distractions and saves on some of the bandwidth for the presentation. As far as the agenda goes this morning, we're going to be covering an array of benefits and services and information for you. We are going to do just a beginning overview of what the CalTAP program is specifically and some of the benefits and services that are offered here in the state of California to service members, veterans, and their families. And we are also going to be joined by our local interagency network coordinator, Mrs. Annette Hulliver, who's our Central Valley Regional link, and she's going to be covering some of the work that she does regionally. And then we're going to be going over some specific resources for disaster assistance here in the state of California for those affected by natural disasters and wildfires. After we've covered all of the information, we're going to open it up for a question and answer portion. If you'd like to ask your questions, please utilize the Q&A tab. There is a tab up there that says Q&A. That will allow each panelist and presenter to see what those questions are and they can answer it appropriately. We are going to be using the chat feature to send out links and resources kind of as we're going along. So that one is reserved for our team and my colleague Michael, who's monitoring the chat. But if you specifically want to ask your questions, you can ask them as you go or hold them, but please just use that Q&A feature. All right, thank you. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Derek Rose, and I serve as a training coordinator for the California Transition Assistance Program. I have worked for the CalTAP program for a little over 3 years now. I am a Navy veteran myself, so I've kind of have the experience of going through the transition program and the process as well. So I'm happy to kind of come back and work for this program and present this information to you all today. So thanks again for joining us. So let's just do a quick overview of what the CalTAP program is and some of the work that we do. The CalTAP program is designed to inform and connect veterans of all eras to their federal and state benefits. Because we know that not all veterans' needs are the same, and those needs certainly change over time according to what the need is. So the way that we've developed our program is through our 5 Pathways program, which covers anything from our core veterans curriculum, which is basically Veterans Benefits 101. It's how to enroll in VA healthcare, how to file for disability claims compensation, how to request your records, and really how to get started with veterans benefits. And then a little bit more specifically, our program covers our additional pathways, which cover our education, employment, entrepreneurship, and our veteran service provider pathway. So if a veteran's transition is taking them into any one of those key areas, we've designed self-paced learning modules to kind of get started and follow along if you're going back to school, exactly what your education benefits are, how to get started in the California higher learning institutions. Our employment pathway, if you want to start developing your resume and market yourself for your job search. If you, for entrepreneurship, if you want to start or begin your own business, we have our learning modules for you as well. And our service provider pathway, if you want to be involved in providing services to veterans, if that's through, if you're an employer looking to hire veterans, or if you work with veterans in any type of capacity, we have our service provider pathways as well. So I also wanted to highlight our California Veterans Resource Book. This is a great tool to keep handy if you don't have a copy. You can certainly download one through our website, a virtual PDF copy. This is basically encompasses all things veterans benefits related, from your federal benefits to your state benefits to local offices to where you can apply, and really kind of all of the eligibility requirements for all the benefits that we're going to be talking about today. So we can send this information through the chat to where you can download and have a PDF copy of this book as well. So how exactly can you kind of find us and get started through our website and navigating our program? This is our main page through on Calvet, and our program is down there on the right hand side. It's the CalTAP program. So if you clicked on that link, it will bring you to our main pathway page, each one of those that I previously spoke about. But I also wanted to highlight real quick down there on the bottom where it says archives. That is our whole series of archives webinars that we've been hosting virtually for the past few years now, since we kind of shifted our training to more online based. Here's where you can find all of the webinars that we've hosted and all the topics that we've covered. We've covered anything from mental health resources to housing resources to specific education, benefits-based programs and webinars. So if at any time that you kind of want to circle back and navigate some of the work that we've done over the past couple of years, this is a great way to kind of go back, review the webinar, and you can even download a PDF copy of the PowerPoint and the slide deck that's associated with that. So it's a really great tool to kind of navigate at your own leisure. But for today, we kind of want to focus right now on that top link, which is our core curriculum, which I mentioned earlier that it's kind of VA benefits 101. So if you clicked on core curriculum, you can see all of the modules that fall within there, anything from healthcare, disability claims, to financial literacy, to records maintenance. But for this morning, we want to focus on right there in the middle where it says module 5, which is our California benefits. So if we clicked on module 5, that'll bring us to kind of an overview of what Calvet offers for veterans here in the state. This information, again, is all found in our resource book for the state-specific side. So you can find all of this information is in there as well. But let's just do a quick recap and kind of run through of what some of the benefits are that we offer. We offer anything from our tuition fee waiver program for dependents of disabled veterans to go to any school here in the state of California. It's a CSU or UC school, I should say, completely tuition free. It waives all of the tuition at these schools, but it does require a disability rating from the veteran, and the student does need to be a resident here in the state of California. So that's one of our most popular benefits, most often utilized. It's a great benefit for children to use here in the state of California. We have the designation on the California driver's license, which allows you to have the word veteran printed on your driver's license, so you don't have to carry around your paper copy of your DD-214 for those great discounts and benefits at your local stores or restaurants and everything of that nature. We offer the vehicle registration fee waiver for totally disabled veterans with mobility impairments. So if you have that certification from a doctor or a physician and you have your eligibility through the VA, you can apply through the DMV to have your registration fees waived. We offer hunting and fishing license reduced fees on those passes, as well as our state parks pass for 50% service-connected disabled veterans. That allows no cost at all at state parks here in the state of California. So that's another great resource as well. The disabled veteran property tax exemption, if you have the eligibility for that, you can apply through your county assessor's office to have a certain amount exempted on your property taxes if you own a home or property. Business license tax and fee waiver. If you wanted to sell any goods or products and you needed a business license to do so, you can apply to have that fee waived. Our Calvet Home Loans program is another great program that mirrors the VA home loan, the federal VA home loan. However, Calvet actually serves as the lender on this home loan. So you would be applying for and paying your mortgage directly to the state of California. We just want to make this information available to you if you're interested in home ownership here in the state. And we have a great team at our Sacramento headquarters that works with all veterans, personally and directly on their home loans application. If you'd like to find out more information, we can send that in the chat if you're interested. Our Calvet Women's and Minorities Division outreach programs that helps advocate for our underserved veterans here in the state of California. That's another division here at our headquarters building. They do great work. And our Calvet Homes for long-term care. We operate 8 state veterans homes for veterans in need of that care. So if that time of need does come for you or your family member who is a veteran, just please know that they do have that eligibility to be placed in a California veterans home. And Calvet also operates 3 state cemeteries. You may be familiar with the national VA cemeteries, but Calvet actually operates 3 on its own. So that is kind of just a high level overview to just kind of give you a snapshot of some of the benefits and services that we offer. We'd be happy to talk to you or answer any questions that you had about that following today's webinar if you'd like more information. So some common websites that you may be coming across or have already navigated as well. Of course, VA is kind of the main one, right? So va.gov, and here's where you can manage all of your healthcare needs, file for your disability claims compensation, your education benefits, and maintain all of your service records and download your award letters, get your VA medical records as well. So that's a great starting point. VA is kind of transitioning into a new login portal that's going to replace e-benefits. So if you've recently logged into e-benefits to try and manage any of your claims or view your letters, it will reroute you through this My VA portal. It's kind of a one-stop shop login for all of your needs. You can still utilize e-benefits, but if you try and do anything, it's going to kind of reroute you through this system. But this is where you can schedule appointments, just like I mentioned, download all of your VA letters and all of your important information through the VA. My Health eVet is a great resource for you if you receive your health care through the VA. This is where you can go to manage your prescriptions, schedule appointments, and really just maintain all of your healthcare needs through the VA, communicating with your primary care team as well. So that's another great resource. For continued support options, if you'd like to stay in contact with us and have any questions regarding any of this information, you can provide your email to our email address at CalTAP, and we will include you in all of our outreach information. We'll include you in our newsletter. So that way you can really stay connected with all of the work that we're doing at Calvet. You can register on our website for specific benefits updates. That allows you to create a profile for yourself on our website that will really just give you all of the information and benefits and services that you're interested in. And just follow us along on all of our social media platforms, which will allow you to stay updated on all of our webinars. And we also have a survey for you all to take some time to fill out today. It's just a few questions that really helps us in making sure that we're presenting all of the most current and relevant information for you all today. So real quickly, I just also wanted to just show you a snapshot of how to create a profile for My Calvet. You can just go there on the right-hand side to where you can register directly for your profile and get all of your information up to date. This is a snapshot of our newsletter that we've developed recently, which will kind of cover all of the highlights for our program and what the theme of our month is. And it also shows all of the webinars that we're hosting for that month. And you can register directly through this newsletter. So if you want to be included in this information, you can send us your email address and we'll add you to this. And that way you can get our monthly message. it's a great way to kind of stay in contact with us and keep up to date on all of the work that we're doing. So I know that was kind of a lot of information in a short period of time. But if you have any questions on anything that I covered, you can reach out to me directly in my email address and I'll be happy to speak with you. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Annette, who is our Central Valley link, and she can talk a little bit more about some of the work that she does regionally. So with that, Annette, feel free to take it away.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Yes, I am the local interagency network coordinator, and that's quite a mouthful. We're referred to as a link, but basically what I am is I'm a field rep for the state of California. I'm actually one of 8 field reps that work with state and federal agencies, and we work together as a team and independently within our own areas. Next slide, please. So you can see that Calvet has divided the state into 8 regions. Each color is a region with a link associated with it. I am the Central Valley Link. I cover Stanislaus to Kern counties, 8 counties in total, representing about 144,000 veterans. But I represent both current and prior military service members. And as I said, we work as a team. All of us links have our own skill sets. So that's why we can work so well together. We have a lawyer in our group. We have retired military. We have current military, Guard and Reserve. I actually was an EDD vet rep for 8 years. So anytime a question about unemployment comes up, I get called. But we work as a team, but we also work within our individual communities to establish deeper resources for the military community that we serve. Next slide, please. So we provide outreach to service members, veterans, and their families. I go to the Lemoore Naval Air Station so that current military service members are aware of their benefits before they even separate. We go to community college resource centers, veteran resource centers. So, and these are many times recently separated to make sure, once again, they're aware of their benefits. But we also work with our libraries. We have our veterans resource centers. I know in the Central Valley, they're great. They're in remote locations, maybe where there's no other resources. So I kind of call them the lifeline. And then we make referrals and work directly with established service provider networks. So I have collaboratives that I attend. I work with nonprofits and our agencies here. So I can do those augmented resources, as I say. If the state and federal can't assist, then perhaps one of these agencies can do it. I've had veterans contact me. They needed gas cards or the battery was dead in their car. I actually had someone who called and said, I have a hole in my roof and it's going to be raining. And by reaching out to my community partners, we were able to have someone come out that same day and assist them. And then we assist with local emergencies. And we're going to talk more about LACs coming up, the local assistance centers for the fires that we have here in California. But we also now are taking all the calls that go into 1-800-CALVET. So it doesn't matter if I get a call from Klamath Falls or San Diego, because I'm aware of the state and federal resources, I'm able to assist them. And if we need to dive deeper into their community for additional resources, I will contact their link, because basically we're the subject matter experts in the areas that we are. And then we provide leadership and advocacy to local communities by staying in touch with all our partners, our collaboratives. We ensure they're aware of their benefits, any changes and updates to benefits, but also if there's any gaps in benefits, that we can send this information to headquarters. Next slide, please. So we do have a unique position. There's only 8 of us in the state, which is unbelievable. But we do an awful lot of outreach, and Calvet has been very instrumental in making sure that we have all the things that we need to go for that outreach. And then we look at the status and needs of veterans in our specific geographic regions, and we can assist them however we need to assist them. If I need to call headquarters, if I need to call one of my partners to ask for additional information, I know that I have these resources available to me, and I can ensure that our military service members get the resources they need. Next slide, please. So we are experts in the area of veteran services benefits on a state, federal, and local level. That's pretty much our job. to make sure that we know all the resources available. But we also work very hard to build additional resources. And we understand the local infrastructure of veteran service in our assigned region. I know all the AMVETs, I know the leadership there, DAV, American Legion, because I know they can provide a lot of things for our veterans that maybe people didn't realize they were even entitled to. Next slide, please. So getting connected to your benefits, I love this one the best because that's what links do. We want to get military service members and their families connected to benefits. And I am the poster child, as I say, of getting connected to your benefits. I served in the United States Army from 1975 to 1978. Once I separated, I used my GI Bill, got my degree, and then used my VA home loan, and I thought that's pretty much it. And I didn't realize until 12 years ago when I started working for the state of California in veteran services that I was eligible to file for compensation. So I have a service-connected disability that gives me additional benefits. I didn't realize I could still enroll in VA healthcare. And as Derek was saying earlier, your needs change over time. You may not need some things now, but you need to be aware of over time, you can always access a lot of those benefits. So employment and training, the Employment Development Department has dedicated staff that work solely with veterans, whether it's resume preparation, interview skills, or just getting connected to employers. That's what they're there for. As I said, I was an EDD vet rep for 8 years. So I know how dedicated and hard they work to ensure that veterans get employment. They are co-located in the America's Job Center of California. And these AJCCs have all the tools that you can use at no cost to you, whether it's computers, job searching on a computer, they have job boards, they have scanners, printers. So make sure that you take advantage of these benefits, or if you need to file for unemployment, paid disability leave, or paid family leave, they're there to assist you in that process. California state benefits, well, that's what Calvet is all about. And every state has different benefits and different eligibilities. So we work very closely with the County Veterans Service Office. They are the boots on the ground, and we're going to talk about them a little further along. But there are 58 CVSOs in the 56 in the 58 counties here in the state of California. So they really have their hands on things and can help you filing for compensation, college tuition fee waiver, any DMV paperwork. They're there to assist you. And then healthcare, as I said, I'm enrolled in VA healthcare. We should be mindful of our healthcare during this time. And I've been very fortunate in the last few years with COVID. Most of my doctor appointments have been through Teleconnect or VA Health. So I never had to leave my house. They would come to me basically on my computer. If I need to get in touch with my doctor on My Healthy Vet, I can email them. There's secure messaging. I can reorder my prescriptions. The healthcare I think that the VA has to offer is truly exceptional. Next slide, please. So this is my contact information. If you remember nothing else, remember this. And like I said, I'm a United States Army veteran with a service-connected disability. I've used a lot of the resources, state and federal, so I can do that soft handoff to any information that you might need. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Annette. Really appreciate the information. So now we're going to dive a little bit more specifically into the resources that are available in relation to disaster assistance. I think we might have had a few questions that have come in already. I just want to remind you all that if you do have questions, if you maybe joined a little bit later, to just either use that Q&A tab, or we can just kind of hold the questions till the end of the presentation. We'll definitely allow some time for those to come in. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit more specifically about the resources that are available. I think Annette and myself are going to just kind of team up on this one, and I know Annette has a lot of expertise in these areas, so we're going to kind of team up and share with you this information. So Annette, do you want to maybe kind of start with the LACs and just kind of a little bit more specifically about how those are operated and kind of how they come about and what goes on at an LAC?
Yeah, so actually I was deployed to the local assistance center in Tulare County in Porterville for a period of like 3 weeks. And they have all sorts of resources there, whether it's DMV, EDD, and we can assist veterans and actually anyone who comes in. I was very taken back by what the LAC in Tulare offered. We had 200 people drive through one day, and they had shovels, they had water for them, they had things that they could dig through their properties because in some cases they lost everything. And so we were there to assist them. Some people lost their DD Form 214, and that's a valuable piece of paperwork. But by working with the County Veteran Service Office, we were able to get copies of those DD Form 214s. And also working with Brad Pedersen, who is our Calvet home loan agent expert, get COE so they could go forward with either a Calvet or a VA home loan. And then if they had a Calvet home loan, we could help them with their insurance paperwork. And they're usually set up in the counties of the disaster. So I assisted with the Creek Fire here in Fresno County, but also with the SQF fires in Porterville, Tulare County.
Outstanding. Yeah, these are really, really great resources. I myself worked at an LAC, I think in Mendocino County a few years back. And it's just really just a great kind of a one-stop shop for all of the things that veterans are in need of. They've lost their home, they've lost their property, and these folks are really, really in need. And these agencies and organizations really, have a collaborative effort of kind of walking veterans around to where they need to go to get them plugged in to these essential services. So thank you for touching on that, Annette. I think just a little bit more specifically, just like Annette mentioned, so anything from your records, I think even DMV was on site printing out identification cards and new driver's licenses. The VA was there to help with healthcare needs, prescription needs, and we were there to provide support for home loan support. And getting veterans plugged in and if they have to go through their insurance companies. And Calvet does offer a great home insurance policy, homeowners insurance policy for Calvet home loan holders. So with the housing and social support on site and the counseling that's offered through our vet centers and other agencies, the LACs are very critical anytime there's a natural disaster. So how exactly you can find an LAC once they're operational, we all kind of share the information on this. So definitely through Cal Fire, through our website as well, through Cal OES, who's an integral part in all of these resources and disaster assistance services, and through 211 or 211.org is how you can kind of find these once they're operational. I mentioned Cal Fire. You can stay up to date through their website, what their incident report is. I believe this was as of last year, primarily with the Dixie fire. So you can kind of find out where the active fires are and the details on that fire as well. So this is just a snapshot for you to kind of have an idea of what to expect. Through our website as well, we like to stay up to date. We post our wildfire information page at the top header of our website. So that's where you can go, and it'll kind of direct you to all of those links and websites and resources to cover all of this information. So if you just clicked on it, it would be an expanded page that covers where the active LACs are, information through Cal Fire. It gives all of the information for our links that Annette mentioned, all 8 links that serve in the state of California, as well as additional resources through the VA as well. So just a snapshot for you to kind of give you an overview of the information that you can find. I mentioned Cal OES. They have a nice news section and kind of a stay up to date section on what's going on, the work that's going on, as well. So they're just another great resource. They post their information for the LACs as well. So also follow along through Cal OES to stay up to date. Our vet centers that are operated through the VA, they also provide support at the LACs. Vet centers are very specific on the work that they do, but they definitely show support in terms of counseling, outreach, and other, of course, referral services to veterans and families who are in need. So anything from mental health counseling to grief counseling, they're really a great resource if you are in need of just kind of personalized services through the VA or a vet center. So
yeah, if I could say something, our vet centers here are very active, and they do a lot of, they actually have a band, and they get together once a month, and everybody can come and play a guitar. I mean, it's really kind of a way for people to open up without having to really say a lot. I think it's it's great outreach that they do.
absolutely. And okay, so we do know that, of course, your military records are absolutely critical when it comes to time to applying for veterans assistance and veterans benefits in general. So not only in relation to natural disasters or wildfires, we get questions just all the time about veterans who need, benefits or services or applying for healthcare or compensation, and they don't have their DD 214. So Annette, do you maybe want to touch a little bit more about records recovery and how Archives is operating that at the moment?
Yeah, the National Archives is up to speed now. So I've known someone who's requested it. The best way to do it is do it online. Then you sign a piece of paper, you fax it over, and I've seen people get their DD Form 214 in within 15 to 20 days. You can also get your military records, whether it's personnel records or health records, and you can also get copies of your medals free of charge. So definitely, this is a great way to go. The one thing about if you want current information, you can go into e-benefits, but they only have records up from 2004 up. So I can't get my DD Form 214 off there. But if you're a recently separated military person, you can get your records off of e-benefits. You can get a certificate of eligibility if you want to get a home loan. So they have all that information on there. That disability letter that shows what your percentage is where you need to get benefits. You can also print that off, and I can still do that. So I would definitely utilize e-benefits. If you can't get it there, then access the National Archives.
Great. Thank you, Annette. And we also touched on our county veteran service offices here in the state of California, which are really just kind of a one-stop shop and really should be the first point of contact in relation to all things veteran services, veterans benefits. Our CVSO offices, help you apply for all of the benefits that we covered here on the state level, but they deal primarily with of course, they deal primarily with claims and compensation, but they do an array of services, and they're very county specific. So they're really in touch with the needs of that community. And I know Annette has, close personal working relationships with those offices in her region through each county. So they really are kind of the starting point. So I can kind of just give an overview, and if Annette, you have anything else to add. So the CVSOs provide free benefit information and counseling for veterans, dependents, and their family members as well, specifically in relation to, of course, claims and compensation. So just for example, you can see just kind of a snapshot and highlights of the work that they do. This is a few years back, but you can kind of see that the money that they bring in to the state and the revenue that's generated through our county veteran service offices. So, $540 million in new benefits and $336 million in continualized annual benefits for California veterans. So really kind of the thing to take away here is, you may, let's say, for example, walk into a CVSO office, just wanting that veterans designation on your driver's license, but after you talk to a vet rep, you may find out that you're eligible for something you didn't know about, such as a disability claim compensation. And maybe you can leave there with, let's say, maybe a 10% disability rating from your knee from the service, and then that will allow your child to go to school free in the state of California. So it just kind of brings all of those services together. And, well, I like to say you don't know what you don't know. So your trip to the CVSO could result in monetary benefits for you and your family members as well. So they're a great starting point, and they're free services. Please don't ever pay for veterans counseling or veterans services, because the CVSOs are really plugged in, and they really provide a great service to veterans here in this state. So
Yeah, I'd like to piggyback on that real quick.
Yes, please.
I would say that I had my claim filed through the CVSO, the County Veteran Service Office. I recommend them highly. They do 50% of the claims in the state of California. They do it day in and day out. It's not I'm there every Tuesday or Thursday. They know the verbiage. They know the language to use. They're good whether you're filing for compensation, appealing. Maybe you got a denial. So definitely, and as Derek said, a conversation with them could lead to additional conversations. And like you said, you don't know what you don't know. And I think I'm a prime example of that, that you can find out more about your services, and they change over time. So there's always updates going on. So take advantage of the county veteran service offices.
Yeah, absolutely. And just as Annette mentioned, if you file a claim through the County Veteran Service Office, then Calvet is appointed as your advocate and your vet rep for your claim. So as Annette mentioned, you can if you did get a denial, you would go straightly through our department, Calvet, to serve as your advocate. So there are other organizations, I believe Annette mentioned AMVETS or DAV that do claim assistance for veterans. But the CVSO is really plugged in, and they know all, I wouldn't say tips and tricks, but like Annette mentioned, they know all of the verbiage. They are great at reviewing your records to making sure that once you do file a claim through the VA, that it is fully developed and it's good to go. A lot of veterans run into hurdles with benefits because they may file on their own, which everybody is eligible to do, but they might miss a keyword, or they might miss a document that would result in a denial, and then you fall into the appeals path of your claim. So going through the CVSO is just a great way to kind of make sure that the ball is in their court and they're really working for you and advocating for you. So just the work that they do, like we've already mentioned, benefits counseling, advocacy to all of our federal, state, and local agencies, survivors benefits, whether that's through pension programs or indemnity compensation for maybe veterans who have passed away due to a service-connected disability. Their survivors would be eligible for a certain pension amount based on that. For burial benefits and services, they can make sure that you're receiving all of the care through the VA, through the cemetery administration. They work directly with local veterans organizations for funeral honors and everything like that. So they're really plugged into the community. Claims and compensation, pension, records maintenance, of course, they'll request all of your records. They can assist with discharge upgrades. They can review your service records, and if you're eligible for that, they can help you apply through the department to have an upgrade on your service record if you're eligible. The fee waiver. This is where veterans and their children need to go to apply for the college fee waiver. We get sometimes folks will send us applications directly for the fee waiver, but they need to be certified through the county first. So you bring in them all of your information. I would say with claims and compensation and the fee waiver, that is probably their two major workload as far as processing that. And then of course, the veterans driver's designation. That's where they'll stamp, they'll certify that you are a veteran, and they'll give you a nice little form, and then that's what you'll take to the DMV. So just personally, before you do anything DMV related, please visit the CVSO first before you walk into a DMV office, because you might get turned away because you don't have that proper stamp from the county. So we just want to present this information to you so that you kind of have a starting point, and we want to plant the seed of information, so you're not kind of scrambling back and saying, nobody told me that. So we wanted to show you all of this information. So how you can find a CVSO, of course, is through our starting with our resource book. There's the contact information for each county. You can find their office, their phone numbers, their working hours as well. So all of this information is in there, as well as on our website. You can go to any one of those three icons and it'll lead you to the contact information. So if you clicked on find a CVSO, it'll give you a drop down tab of each county to where you can find their information. So lastly, we would just kind of wanted to recap everything that we spoke about today. If you'd like to maybe pull your phone out and just kind of take a snapshot of these resources, we think that'd really be useful. So feel free to reach out to us, to our office as well, to Annette, to myself, to any one of us on the CalTAP team, and we can take some time to personally guide you through anything that we spoke about today. So with that, I believe that covers all of the information for this morning. I know it was a lot of information in a relatively short period of time, but I will open it up for any questions that came in through our tab. So Michael, do you want to kind of facilitate that portion? And if you do have questions, if you've been holding them, feel free to ask those and we can answer them with the time allowed. Go ahead, Mike.
Yes, Derek, I don't see any questions on my end. Do you see any over there? I did turn my VPN off late, so I don't know if that's why I'm not seeing anything.
I don't have any written questions that I'm seeing, Mike. But I think we've had a few hand raises. So I can open up the microphones to anybody who has a hand raised right now, and we can give them a few moments to ask their question. So I'll go ahead and do that. I think, yeah. Thanks. I believe Sarah has a question.
Hello, good morning.
Hi.
You guys had a lot of really great information. I want to thank you all for doing that for us today.
Of course. Thank you for joining us.
I'm just wondering, I'm part of my local PVA, and I'm wondering if you guys would be willing to share this information with my PVA chapter board members.
Yeah, in relation to sharing any of this information, or just maybe having a little further discussion, you can send us an email to that email address right there on the screen, and we can kind of just maybe have a discussion. And I'd also want to say that we will be posting all of this information on our website and sharing the PowerPoint as well. So if anybody wants to have a copy of this presentation today, we can share that personally. And then as far as future presentations, I would just have to run that by my team, and then we can just kind of talk about that, where to go from there. But we'd be happy to have that discussion for sure.
That would be awesome. Thank you very much, because I did share a couple of screenshots with my executive director, and she was very ecstatic about what I shared with her. So
Great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
So thank you very much, like I said, for sharing this information with us today. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah,
all very good info.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
One of the comments I want to make is that we talk about women veterans and minority and unrepresented veterans as part of agencies under Calvet. And I think Calvet has done a great job about addressing veteran issues. But with women veterans, sometimes we didn't realize we're veterans. For many years, I said I was in the Army. And like I said, I didn't realize till 12 years ago that I am a veteran, and that's very empowering. And so that's why they have the advocacy group, to make sure that women veterans are aware they still have benefits, even if they didn't serve overseas. And I was stationed in West Berlin for 2.5 years, and I still didn't consider myself a veteran. And then minority and unrepresented veterans, I think the biggest thing that we do for them is citizenship. Some members went into the military without being a citizen. They didn't follow through once they separated. And I would get a call every other month from an individual saying, I'm about to be deported. So we want to provide that information for them, whether it's legal services, naturalization services for them and their families. But we also look at Native American issues. We look at LGBTQ. So I think Calvet has done a really good job of addressing the needs of all veterans. And we're very inclusive now of what we talk about.
Absolutely. Thank you, Annette. That's great info. So with that, I'd also like to share some of the upcoming webinars that we're going to be hosting through the remainder of July and then going into August. So on the 26th, we're going to be hosting a webinar very similar to this one, but it's in direct partnership with Cal OES and the VA. So we're honored that they're going to participate and share a little bit more of their expertise as far as the work that Cal OES does, some really specific disaster assistance preparation as far as how to secure your home, making sure that you're prepared for when those disasters arise, with your go kits and just making sure that your home is prepared for everything and the work that the VA does. And then we're going to kind of transition our theme for the month of August to dive into each one of those pathways that I kind of highlighted in the beginning. So if you're interested in one of those areas, feel free to follow us along. Register for our events and stay up to date and pass this along to anybody who else would be in need, whether that's for yourself or your organization that you work with. It's really great information to stay in tune with, I guess. We'd also would like to request a few minutes of your time to take a quick 3-question or so survey about today's webinar. You can just pull out your smartphone right now and scan that QR code, and that'll take you to our SurveyMonkey link. This really just helps us, just to make sure that we're presenting all of the up-to-date information, relevant information for you, and really goes a long way in developing our program. So I'll leave this up for another minute or so, and it looks like we have one question that came in through the Q&A with the chat, and I can read that out loud right now. This says, does the website provide information on who to contact to try to get property tax waived in California if you are rated 90%? Do you have to be 100%? So as it stands right now, it is a 100% total rating. So if you have that 100%, you would apply through your county assessor's office. So each county is different, and each county offers a different exemption amount based on assessed property values of that county. But as of right now, the eligibility rating is 100%. I will say, however, I have heard things in the works that they are trying to open that up for all veterans, but don't say that I said that's the eligibility process or that is the eligibility. I have just seen a few bills floating around through common knowledge websites that are advocating for that to be open to all veterans. So as it stands right now, it is 100%. But as a veteran myself and working with veterans, I'm eager for maybe that to change one day to all veterans. So that is my specific answer on that question. So that's a great question. So thanks for asking. All right, I don't believe we have any more questions. So with that, I would just like to say thank you for joining us. Thank you to Annette and Mike for assisting on today's webinar. Really appreciate your help on this one. We'd like to thank you all for joining us and attending today's webinar. We hope that it was valuable information. We thank you for your service or the services that you provide to veterans, perhaps. So with that, I'll just say, have a great day, everyone. Have a great rest of your week. Stay safe, stay cool, stay healthy. And we hope that you all join us again sometime. So have a great day, everyone.
Thank you for your service.
Yes.